Hi everyone, I'm Paul Piotrowski and welcome to another episode of the Paulymath Show. In this episode, I want to talk about the three pillars of achieving success. And these pillars can be applied to pretty much any area of your life. So the first one I'm going to start off with is taking action. And most people are familiar with this. Let's say that you wanted to start a blog and you wanted to build a successful blog. So what most people might do is they'll start a blog, and the action steps that they might follow is to install a blogging software platform like WordPress, and then just go out there and start writing blog posts. So they jump into the action steps and they go out there and they start taking the action steps. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's totally perfectly fine to do that. But the biggest challenge that people have with that particular pillar of taking action is a lack of patience and a lack of persistence. So what I mean by that is, in almost everything that I've done in my life, where I've seen new people coming in and asking me for advice or help in an area of life that I've had success in, but they're not getting success in, they come to me and they say to me, look, I've been taking these action steps, but I'm not getting any results. For example, somebody who starts a blog, they go out there and they'll write 5, 6, 7, maybe 10 different blog posts, and then they'll phone me up and ask me and say, listen, I've written 10 blog posts, I haven't had anybody comment on my blogs, what am I doing wrong? And in reality, in a situation like that, in almost every case that I've seen, it's not the fact that they're doing anything wrong, they just don't have enough patience, and they don't have enough persistence to stick with it long enough to achieve the results that they want. So the question I'll ask them is, well, how many blog posts did you think it's going to take before you start getting comments? And the answer in most cases is going to be, that I've seen, is most people will say, well, I don't know. They say, I don't know. I thought there would be some kind of, somebody would leave a comment by now. The same thing can be applied to any other industry. Let's say we're talking about somebody who is a salesperson, like a real estate agent or an insurance salesperson or somebody like that. And let's say they go out there and they've seen people who are successful in the industry. They'll go out there and they'll talk to 10 or 15 prospects. And every single one of those people that they talk to basically tells them to go away. They're not interested. They don't want to buy the insurance, or they're not interested in listing a house with them or something like that. And those people will sit there and say, well, I took the action steps, but I didn't get the results that I wanted, so I must be doing something wrong, and usually they give up. Now, in a situation like this, the reason why this doesn't work, the reason why taking action by itself doesn't work, is because most people underestimate the need to have the proper strategy in place to follow when you're taking those action steps. So going out there and just doing massive amounts of action without following a proper strategy is not very effective. Okay, so for example, let's go back to the blogger example. Somebody goes out there and starts writing blog posts, and they're not getting anybody leaving comments on their site. One of the things that they might be doing wrong, something that could be wrong with their strategy, is that they're not doing any kind of marketing. They're not promoting their blog anywhere. They're not doing any kind of search engine optimization or anything like that. So what could happen in a scenario like that is that they're basically writing content for a blog that nobody's looking at. Okay? Or the scenario could be that they are getting traffic to their site. Maybe people are looking at their content, but they're simply not leaving comments because maybe the way that the blog posts are written, they're not written in a way that will engage people and pull them into a conversation. So action by itself just doesn't do it. You have to also have the second pillar, which is to have the proper strategy. Okay, and strategy is very important in many ways. But one of the biggest things with strategy is that you have to ask yourself, when you're following a specific strategy and you're taking the action steps required to make it work, you have to ask yourself, what are the numbers that follow this strategy? Meaning, every industry, every strategy, every game plan has a certain has a certain set of numbers. So, going back to the blogging example, if I told you that here's the proper blogging strategy, I want you to go out there and I want you to write a blog post, and I want you to go out there and write 100 blog posts, and the first 100 blog posts you're going to write, you're not going to even get a single comment. If you get a comment on one of those blog posts, you know, you've consider yourself lucky, but in most cases you're not going to get any kind of feedback from people until you've written at least 100 posts. If I told you that from day one as a strategy, and you went out there and wrote 5 or 6 or 7 blog posts and you didn't see any comments coming in, it wouldn't worry you so much, because you would know that, hey, well, this strategy calls for at least 100 blog posts before I see the results. The same thing can be said with salesmanship. For example, if you sat down with your sales manager and the sales manager told you you need to go out there and talk to at least 100 people before you can book in a single appointment in this industry, and you went out there and talked to 10 or 15 people and you didn't book an appointment, you wouldn't be so depressed, because you're like, okay, well, I haven't hit the numbers yet. I haven't hit 100 yet, so that I can't judge my results or the lack of results based on the numbers that I've done. I have to do at least 100 people. And in most cases, you have to almost do triple the amount to get proper enough data to calculate any kind of statistics. So the importance with strategy, when it comes to strategy and action steps, is that strategy gives your action steps or tells you what to expect when you're taking these action steps, so that you can, if you have the right strategy and you know what it is, you can look at the action steps you're taking and you can compare it to the strategy. So if every person, let's say you're taking a course on blogging, and every person in the course is following the same strategy, and they've written 10 blog posts, and after writing 10 blog posts, they're starting to get comments. You've gone out there and you've written 50 blog posts and you're not getting any comments. Well, that means that you're doing something wrong. You can compare your action steps with your strategy to somebody else who's following a strategy and action steps. But it's very difficult to just compare action steps to action steps. You have to figure out what is the strategy that you're following in the first place. So taking action by itself is not going to do it. You have to be following some kind of strategy. And when it comes to strategy, there's a huge difference between having an effective strategy and having an ineffective strategy. I mean, I know many people who are trying to make money online and they're following a completely ineffective strategy. They're basically doing what's easy. So they went out there, they looked around, they see, okay, this person is doing this, this person is doing this, this person is doing this. They've taken all the easy stuff from every person and they've combined it into their own easy strategy. They take that strategy, they take massive action, they're not getting any kind of results, and then they're wondering why it's not working. Well, it's not the fact that they're not taking enough action. The reality is that they would get results if they were just following the right strategy or a proper strategy. So action without strategy is pointless. You're just going to basically, it's like spinning your tires. You're not getting anywhere.